This is video number 2 for section 3.6 on graphing systems of linear inequalities. This is very, very similar to what we were just doing. It's just now we have a system of these things, meaning we have more than one. Well, just like earlier in chapter 3, the solution to a system simply means all of the xy pairs that work in both. So we just need to figure out what are the xy pairs that are going to work in the first one and the second one. The strategy is very simple. All we'll do is we'll go ahead and graph each inequality separately. We just learned how to do that. The final answer will simply be the overlap, the part that work with both. Thankfully, both of these inequalities are already in the good format, the y equals mx plus b format. So I think we can just draw them immediately. It looks like for the first one, the y-intercept is here at 3. And then the slope is up 1 and over 2, 1/2. So I can start from my y-intercept and go up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2, etc. And then I need to decide how to connect the dots. Since the inequality doesn't include the equals, I'll need to make it a dashed border line. And then I need to decide which side to shade. Well, I have a less than, so that means I need to shade everything below. Now remember, this is just the solution to the first inequality. This is not the final answer. Now I'll work on the second inequality. Maybe I'll change colors. The second one has a y-intercept at 6, and then the slope is -1. I can think of that as -1 over 1. And so I just need to travel from my y-intercept down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1, etc. And then I need to connect the dots. This time there is an equal sign in the inequality, so I will need to connect these dots with a solid line. As far as the shading goes, I have a greater than symbol for this one, which means for the green line I need to shade all the points above it. The green graph now represents all the solutions to the second inequality. Well, our goal is to figure out the overall solution to the whole system, and all we're looking for are the xy pairs that work in both. Well, those would be the points that are shaded in both red and green. In other words, we're talking about this section in here. The two lines essentially divided up the xy plane into 4 sections. There's a blank section, there's a red only section, there's a green only section, and then there's this one section that's both red and green. Well, these points in here form the solution to this system. As a final answer, we just need to shade in that section as best we can. This final blue area would be the solution to the system. Notice it includes the points on the green line over here because it's solid. It doesn't include the points on the dashed red line. If I was doing this with a pencil, I would probably lightly shade in the first 2 parts, and then I would more darkly shade in the final solution to the system. To conclude, let me go ahead and show you what this is going to look like in my math lab. This is problem number 7 from tonight's homework. It's the same kind of problem we just did. It's solving a system of linear inequalities, drawing a graph, that is. We're just going to do the same thing. I just want to show you how it works in my math lab. Let me enlarge the graph. My first step is to graph the first inequality for the border line. I'll click on the line picture. Looks like I've got a y-intercept at -5. And then my slope is 1/3, so up 1 and over 3 to click in that other point. I do want this line to be solid because of the equal sign, so that's good. I'll leave that alone. Now when we did it on the paper, the next thing we did is we put in the shading. In MyMathLab, you need to wait and just do the shading once at the end. I am going to make a mental note, though, that if I was to lightly shade this in, I would be shading all the points above. So up here is the section of points that works with the first inequality. All right, now we'll go to the second border line. Once again, I need to grab the line picture, and then this y-intercept is at 2. And the slope is -1, so that would be down 1, over 1, etc. This line, though, I want to be dashed, and so before I move on, I need to come over here and choose the dashed button to make this line dashed. If I was going to lightly shade in my solution to this one, it is another greater than, so I would once again be shading all the points above it. Well, now I need to determine which of these 4 sections is the section of overlap, the section that would have both blue shading and yellow shading in it. Well, remember, the blue shading is everywhere above the blue line. The yellow shading is everywhere above the yellow line. The one section that's going to have both would be this section right here. When you decide which section, all you do is you choose the paint can and simply click in somewhere in that section you want to color in. MyMathLab does the rest. Save your picture, check your answer, and that is it. Obviously, for the ones where you don't have a full system, you would just graph the one, shade in the one side, and you would be done.